So still trying to kind of put in perspective our cosmic address. Of course, right here you see the sun, and and drawn to approximate scale, you see the planets kind of grouped. We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars from the closest to the sun outward. Then we have the gaseous planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, and then kind of to scale, here we have Pluto, which is now what we call a dwarf planet. Okay, and actually I believe Eris is also a dwarf planet. These are both dwarf planets. We'll talk more about that later. But just kind of to see size-wise what we have going on with regard to planets in our solar system. There is definitely a difference between these inner planets versus these outer planets. We'll be talking more about that. One of the differences actually is how close they are to the sun. So I don't know if you guys, how many of you have had the opportunity to visit Washington, D.C., but in Washington, D.C., there actually is this, it's called the Voyage model. I think I've got that right. And the way it works is that we've got the sun here, okay, and then we've got to scale all the way out to Pluto. So what we see is very quickly we end up with our close to the sun, we end up with those 4 planets, the Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And then beginning with our first gaseous planet, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, notice they are paced out a lot farther from the sun than are the inner planets. And then we have Pluto. So just to kind of give you a sense of scale. Okay, but remember that our sun is just one typical star in the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, so now kind of stepping out of our, just kind of talking about our Milky Way galaxy, we'll talk more about this too, but can you kind of see the kind of wispiness here? Is that not gorgeous or what? That wispiness actually is what we call the Milky Way. Okay, and it is looking into the plane of our Milky Way galaxy. Now this is looking in the southern hemisphere. Okay, actually being here in North America, we don't see the Centaurus. But I mention this because in your textbook it talks about the nearest star. The nearest star to Earth is actually Alpha Centauri. Okay, which you may have heard before in, what was that movie with the blue people and the star and a planet around a nearby star? Anyway, that is 4.4 light years away. Okay, so that is our closest star. Kind of putting things into perspective. Also putting things into perspective, in our galaxy has about at least 100 billion stars, okay, are within the Milky Way galaxy. The diameter of our Milky Way galaxy is about, just like the Monty Python song says, the diameter is about 100,000 light years from one side of the disk of our galaxy to the other side of the disk of our galaxy. Okay, but with regard to other galaxies, there are about 100 billion other galaxies in the observable universe. So if each one of those galaxies have 100 billion stars, actually you can do the math, and as it turns out, there are more stars in our universe than there are grains of sand on all of the beaches. So that's almost poetic.